Woo! Conspiracy Couch number 9, Tartaria. Man, I don't know what happened there, friends, but yeah, third time's a charm. What's going on D Live? What's going on Foxhole and YouTube? If the peeps over on YouTube that have found the correct link, could you please help direct the other peeps in the old link to where the new one is? I don't know what happened there, but that happens once in a while. So
the Archons, man.
Man, they're always after us. I'm telling you, the struggle is real. I am your host, Alara of Sirius, here with my co-host, Loyal to the Foil. And this is Conspiracy Couch, Tartaria edition, right?
Oh, we got some things to tell you. Alara, have you heard? Everybody's heard.
Bird is a word. Bird is a word. What's going on, Alfredo?
It's gonna be stuck in my head the whole time.
G Morty, Suiterbug, One Brad A, Fearless. Hi Dana, good to see you. Blue, FZ06, Divine Fractal, Cobalt Wolf, Morning Flower, Amanda is awake, Viper 1700, good to see you. Death Memes, look, I finally got it right, Foil. Liberty Bells.
Memes? Yeah. Death Memes?
Death Memes, yeah. Beaphofia. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
It's great to see you guys. Who did I miss over here? Denison, R-Rod67, Jane Q Public. What's going on, friends? Yeah, Conspiracy Couch time. The best time of the night. The time when we sit on the couch and talk about all things conspiracy. Hey, Savage Soul, what's going on? Hi, Becky. Teresa. Blue. Hi, Miguel. Good to see you. Yeah, so let's see. What do we need to go into first?
A couple of changes. Just a few little changes. Okay. Right? We gotta
first.
Yeah, so we're gonna do things a little bit differently, guys. We love having people call in. We've been getting people stuck in the waiting room. So what we're doing now, we're gonna do like one call. Well, obviously one call per show. But like 5-10 minutes. When you call in, have something topic specific, a question or something to add. We're not gonna do screen shares anymore, and nothing that we haven't previewed in any case.
Right.
And yeah, other than that.
What was the other stuff we needed to go into? Okay.
What we say. Yes. So there is some tyranny.
So yeah.
Going on again.
It's getting really bad, you guys. I have one friend that doesn't even discuss anything political that was suspended for 7 days. I have another one that's had 2 videos pulled.
We had somebody tried to post and got pulled before it even posted.
Yeah, we had another friend that didn't even get their premiere out before it got pulled. So the struggle's getting really, really severe out there. And so for those of you on D Live and Foxhole, we apologize.
It's frustrating.
But please go and follow us on D Live. The link to the D Live is in my link tree in the description. Well, the description below isn't there on YouTube anymore. If somebody can please post the link to my D Live, and if somebody could post it over there, that would be great. Please go and follow us on D Live, guys, because I see the writing on the wall with this. And yeah. And also, if you'd like to super chat and don't want to go through YouTube to do so, I'm going to start checking the Cash App periodically throughout the show and thanking anybody that puts a super chat in there. Okay? So, because we have some
super chats to thank, do we not?
Yeah, let me go ahead and do those right now. So, big thank you to Mark222, Suiterbug, Desert Fire from over on D Live. It's hard to catch who donates lemons over there in Restream, but if I'm able to catch it somehow when I'm over there or someone brings it to my attention, then I would love to credit them and thank them. So if anybody is monitoring D Live and sees that, if you could bring it to my attention, that would be great, so I can make sure and thank those folks too. Janet Otto for her donation, and UFO Mark from way back on the 14th. Sorry that was overlooked. Yeah.
I'm slow.
So the only other thing really that we need to kind of go into with that topic is when you do call in on the show, just try to be aware of the fact that we are still on YouTube and how crazy this is getting. So just leave anything with the gate word in it out, just, you guys know, just our favorite letter, that stays out. Anything that's highly controversial or, whatever is going to trigger things.
Yeah, until we get
find another way to say it.
We're gonna get moved. We're gonna get moved, and then it'll be a free for all. We promise. Just
bear with us for a while. We got to figure some things out.
For the time being,
it's getting pretty serious out there, man. In the information war is getting hardcore. So yeah, Tartaria. So let's go to a quick commercial and we'll be right back.
Do you want to bring balance to all the wireless radiation fields in your life, including 5G? The Omnia Radiation Balancer is a small sticker you can stick on any device. It changes the state of the field and creates a new resonance between the wireless radiation and your energy field. On the link below, you'll see all our testing results that show how the body responds excellently once you've made this change in your life. Plus, here's a special discount code at the store. Just enter SFN at the checkout. It's easy to bring balance back to your body with the Omnia Radiation Balancer.
So yes, if you'd like to bring balance back to your body, please enter code SFN at checkout for a 10% discount. And it would be in the description below, but our thing didn't attach
We'll get it
today.
there.
So yeah, I'll
We'll
move
work on that.
everything over whenever this kind of thing happens. I go after the show and I'll move all the links over to the one that actually went up. So it'll be there, I'd say 30 minutes after the show. Go and look and you'll be able to find all the links that you couldn't find before. There was something else I wanted to cover. What was it? So last night's show, as you guys are well aware, it's down. Know that if it's taken down, there's a really good reason for that. And you can find it over on BitChute or Rumble. I'm in the process of moving a lot of things right now. So yeah, just know that. And I usually leave updates on Telegram. If you're on Telegram, please follow me over there on Telegram. That is linked in the description below as well. Hi, good to see you, Keystone. What's going on? Blue Phoenix. Yeah, so I think that about covers everything that we needed to cover.
So Tartaria.
Tartaria, guys, the endless rabbit hole. Like I started on this one months ago. Foil, how long you been in the
Man, okay, so, and this is going to sound crazy, and I'm convinced I'm on some alternate timeline. Like, I remember a great difference of things, but I remember when I was in, like, I had what they called gate classes, some gifted
stop bragging,
shit
Foil.
when I was, point being, I had to learn about all kinds of weird stuff. Well, in any case, I remember learning about the Tartars, but I seem to remember they were described to me as like a Russian, like a group that was specifically not Russian, but like maybe I don't know, Siberia or like northern Mongolia in the plains or whatever, and that there wasn't a whole lot of description given, but so I remember the word, but we fell into this rabbit hole a while ago, and it seems to be kind of an overarching and very expansive thing. I mean, people have, now that we've started looking for it, there are books written and it's starting to tie a lot of things together. Basically, for those that don't know, a bunch of similarities across the globe as far as architecture goes, different styles, the size of things, the way things were buried. It ties in with what they're calling mud floods, which we will get into. But if you go and just try to look it up on Wikipedia, this seems to be one of those hidden history things where I almost feel like, it was like they talk about the Great Reset. Well, this almost feels like it was the predecessor reset. Like this was
Something
the
happened.
last reset that they did. Something went down.
Something funny. And the rabbit hole goes on forever too. You can go so many different directions with it.
And now if you look, like if you go to if you Wikipedia, they say it's a blanket term used in Western Europe, Western European literature and cartography for a vast part of Asia that was bounded by the Caspian Sea, the Ural Mountains, the Pacific Ocean, and the northern borders of China and India at a time when this region was largely unknown to European geographers. They try to play it off like, well, we really didn't know what it was, so they just put a blanket term on it. But it's kind of crazy because these people had political subdivisions, they had their own flags, they had competing things, and then there was a grand, like there's this theory of not just Tartaria, but like the Grand Tartary, like a grand overarching expanding empire. This has been mentioned throughout history in a variety of sources. I mean, Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah.
Gulliver's Travels mentioned Tartaria. Matter of fact, going Tartary, to be specific, but going to Tartary twice on these travels, and what's crazy about it is, I said we were going to talk about, we decided we were going to talk about Atlantis. And I'm just going to go ahead and make the bridge here because this is kind of crazy. So in Gulliver's Travels, when he travels to Tartary, he says that in the book that modern geographers of Europe were in great error supposing that there was nothing but sea between Japan and California. And he says, for it was ever my opinion that there must be a balance of earth to counterpoise the great continent of Tartary. So they refer to it as a continent.
I'm going to show them the map while you're talking. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. So the continent that would be between Japan and Japan and California in the Pacific Ocean, right? If you go to look that up, we get drugged to the continent of Mu, all right, which, the land of Mu, which was an alternative name for Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean the theory is there, and just as a side note, it's kind of crazy because in June of 2020 they found what they called an eighth continent. Now granted, it was down there by New Zealand, Zealandia maybe.
Yeah,
I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. They did find an eighth continent. I mean, we know that there's all kinds of stuff under the water. But when you go to look, like I said, this seems to be some sort of a global overarching similarity in everything from, architecture to types of books that were written to, in Scotland, that's where the tartan cloth comes from. I mean, there's a lot there.
Let me show them. So this is a map just to give you guys an introduction who's never been down this rabbit hole. I believe the parts that are circled in yellow, but I don't know why this bottom part is too. I don't know if that's...
Wait, I can't see. Oh, now I can see. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
See, the parts that are in yellow are considered Tartaria, correct?
Well, there are, yes.
Well, what about Mexico? Look, it's showing that Mexico...
Oh, listen, that was a whole nother rabbit hole I found today. Yes.
All the parts that are in yellow.
Mexico City, there is architecture similar, and then it ties in with the whole mud flood theory, which we'll start showing pictures.
Let me show them some more pictures of the map so they can get an idea of what we're talking about.
Phil Christophers, thank you.
So this is
he says Mu or Lemuria, Atlantis is in Antarctica now. Also another possibility.
This is the flag for Tartaria, you guys, or one of them. There's actually several of them, but there's that there. So the griffin was their symbol on their flag, or all the flags that we can find. Let me show you some more of the map.
The owl
pictures.
was of specific consequence to them too, which was kind of crazy.
So let me show them. Oh no, here's another map right here. I have a few maps saved. So here's another map that shows the Tartarian Empire. Check this out. EO2 Dave says, all the people in that picture have little or no clothes. They must have a good time back then.
Woo! Right.
Thank you, EO2 Dave. How
Right?
you doing, friend? Okay, so here's another map. And it shows this area, again, in yellow, is Grand Tartary. I think it's called Tartaria or something. It's not Tartaria.
French was Tartari, R-I-E, as a matter of fact, it was mentioned in various documents in various languages for the past several hundred years. So
you remember what Sam Tripoli said? Remember when we were talking to him and he was saying it all comes down to the Khazarians and the Tartarians.
Yes.
And it looks like
and that's well, this is the thing. And as a matter of fact, now that you bring that up, R.I.P. Sam, who got kicked off of Twitter today. That's my guy. That document I sent you from the CIA file.
All right, let me pull that up. Let me see. That's the first one you sent me, right? The very first one
I sent you today earlier. Let me.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. Here you go.
Because the question is, since it seems to be the general consensus that these mud floods or whatever it was that happened a few hundred years ago, or reached their conclusion a few hundred years ago, okay, regardless of when it started, and that from that point on there was a concerted effort to suppress information. And it's not like that's so far out of the realm of possibility. I mean, look at what we're seeing now. They're tearing down statues and banning speech and changing the definitions of things, and like I said, it was kind of a reset. So this document is one of the D-class documents the CIA has on their website, and they say, or let us take the matter of history, which, along with religion, language, and literature, constitute the core of a people's cultural heritage. Here again, the communists have interfered in a shameless manner. For example, on the 9th of August, 1944, the Central Committee of the Communist Party, sitting in Moscow, issued a directive ordering the party's Tartar Provincial Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria, to liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes of a nationalistic character committed by individual writers and historians in dealing with Tartar history. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten. Let us be frank, was to be falsified in order to eliminate references to great Russian aggressions, which would be, like you said, the Kazakhs versus the Tartars.
Yep.
Okay. Which, in order to eliminate references to great Russian aggressions and to hide the facts of the real course of the Tartar-Russian relations. And this was no isolated case. In every Muslim country within the USSR, historians on orders of the Communist Party have rewritten history to distort the facts so that the Russians appear always in a good light. Needless to say, histories which present the facts truthfully have been withdrawn and destroyed so that the present and future generations of Muslims are forever denied the chance of learning the true facts of their nation's past.
That is something right there. See, so they've tried to erase this civilization, basically, and so I guess there's a lot of people...
We are watching it happen again.
Again, right.
As far as I'm concerned.
So, you got to really dig, and there's a lot of people starting YouTube channels now and digging on Tartaria and trying to figure out what was it actually, and how big was it, and what... So, there's a lot to this topic.
Was it one empire? Was it a whole bunch of stuff that was just tied together?
So,
like, we don't know.
And here's some of the different rabbit holes you can go down with this topic that are just fascinating, okay? So here's some of the architecture, you guys, of the buildings of Tartaria.
Should we show them the video first? Doesn't it give kind of an overview?
Of the mud floods thing? Yeah, okay, so let's show a couple minutes of the video of the mud floods so you can get an idea of kind of what we're talking about. And then we'll show you a couple pictures of Tartarian architecture, go into a couple things, and then we'll go ahead and open up for callers and start to take callers, because this,
I mean,
we want your guys' input on
Pittsburgh.
this. Yeah.
Like, did you see the pictures from freaking Pittsburgh? Like, that's crazy to me.
All over the place. They say too that I've seen a lot of research saying that you know, like cities like San Francisco, all these cities supposedly allegedly burned in the 1800s, but you know, some people think it
thank
was
you
to
for the
cover
love.
up. Yeah. Also, thank you, Blue Phoenix and Greenbeard, for your lemons over on D Live. Appreciate your support very much. Okay, so let me see. Where was that video? Right where it's down here. I got it.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. So let me
better got it.
Rewind to the beginning. And this was linked in the description, but I have to put it back in there when we get done. All right. So let's see here. Here you go, guys. This will explain a little bit about that part. Oh, I gotta hit the sound.
And welcome back. I hope you're all having a fantastic day wherever you are and whatever day it is. So today we're going to talk about the mud flood theory. And mud flood theory is a very interesting topic that has surfaced over the past few years. And it is based mainly off the fact that we have all these buildings and cities all around the world that are just buried in mud. Just fascinating and incredible architecture. And in many cases, things that we just have no idea how they were built. Or at least that we would have a hard time building today. Never mind in these ridiculous time periods that we're given. So, just a few of many examples. Here we have this old building, already looking pretty old in the first picture. And yes, we see water in front of it, but we also see grass and mud through the water and along the building. And the whole thing appears to have been dug out back to its original street level. Here in Virginia, we see this building, which appears to be built on a much older stone foundation with bricked in windows, and the whole thing looks like it's just been flooded over. This one pretty obvious, underground windows, bricked in doorways, and it's all just been dug out. Now this one's pretty cool. Notice the pattern on the front of the...
Lou Bird says ancient builder race. I want to comment on that real quick. So when we start showing you some of the architecture, I want to show you a little bit more of this so you can get an idea of this. But when we show you some of the architecture, this stuff is crazy, this architecture. And it looks as though they had some sort of free energy. That's the way it appears, because there's antennas all over this architecture. And you can find traces of this all over the world, basically.
I think with what we're looking at now, I don't think this is the ancient builders. I'm not saying that I think that was the first flood. I think that this was possibly the result of some sort of war using, like a war using possibly sonic weapons for soil liquefaction to, I mean, like an earthquake. If it shakes the ground enough, the ground will literally liquefy and things can sink. Or, you know, they may have had, like I said, directed sonic weapons that would create unstable soil liquefaction, the building sinks down, or the mud rushes in. I think these are old buildings, obviously, but not that old.
Let me play a little bit more of this foil, and then we can get it off the screen and explain this while we're showing them those pictures.
This building, and look how deep that is. It's like more than half the building buried. Here we can notice the same horizontal pattern as the front of the last.
This is the part I want to point out. The windows underneath the ground like this. It's really strange, right? You can find this all over the place.
Building. Notice the covered windows at the bottom. Looks like a basement doorway going down on the left. And look at the top of the building next to it. You can see the red brick exposed. Looking kind of like this here. As if it was all just covered in this stucco that we see. And some areas it's wearing off, but it looks like really old brick buildings behind it. And this is a really cool picture here. Look at the doorway down at the bottom. Looks like that just keeps going deeper.
All right, so I think that's kind of good.
Well, you could maybe pause it and put it down and skip forward a little bit later to pull up some more.
I want to show them in here. There's so much to cover with this subject that we just want to touch on it so that we can have a conversation about it. Basically, and then you guys can tell us your input and what you guys have dug up and what your theories on it might be. Let me go back to the file here and show you guys some of this architecture that we're talking about with this. It's a very specific, and a lot of these buildings, guys, have giant doors.
They're huge. We know that they have found giants all over the place. We know the Smithsonian was hiding the giants. We know that they were alive.
Here's a good example. This picture here. Look at this, you guys. So this picture here, you see the architecture is very specific, the Tartarian architecture. Let me zoom in so you guys can see. It's just exquisite. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And it's always got these very tall antennas coming off of the tops of the buildings. It's very odd. But it stands out. You can tell it's very different from any other architecture. And it's just very exquisite. So much work was put into it. It's just something else. So let me find you a couple more pictures of the Tartarian architecture.
Speaking of the architecture, it's kind of crazy because they have, like, a lot of these buildings, like I think it was the Iowa State House, where they show, like, they'll say, okay, this is the building under construction, but none of the ground around it is cleared. None of it's leveled. The stuff isn't cleared out. It looks like they flip and they don't have like, you know, chronological pictures of construction. They'll have a picture or two at the end, like, well, where's the beginning? You know, did you guys not clear out the ground for this? What's going on? Oh, thank you, Sarah. She says fascinating stuff. Appreciate what you guys do. Look, that's in Russia. That one that you've got up there, that's got to be in Russia.
All right. So then there's another building. Let me show this one real quick. I've got quite a few pictures of this Tartarian. It's just very... Hold on. This one's not as clear with the antennas, but they can get a better idea of the architecture. It's just very apparent. It's a very specific style. You get to know it the more and more you dig, and you can pick out these Tartarian buildings. Okay, so there's that one. Let me show another one. And let's see. Oh, so the giant doors. Let's show them the giant doors. So check this out. What are these doing there? You know, look at this.
Now, as the devil's advocate, it's not like we don't sometimes build really big things as a monument to the fact that we can. But a lot of these a lot of these, I don't know that they could even replicate now. You know,
Right.
I mean, and
it just so happens that we know we had giants up into on the
We know.
on the surface of the earth up until around that time because we found the skeletons. So let me show.
there were so many news articles in the 1800s
Yep.
about giant bones found in mounds or whatever, and then the Smithsonian just snatched it all up. I mean, there were stories about giants in Afghanistan not, you know, what, 10, 15 years ago. Maybe 20 years, whenever that
Fearless
was.
says Nephilim architecture foil in Alara.
Yes,
It's a possibility.
definitely.
That's what we need to
I'm-
figure out what's going on here with this because this isn't normal. It's not normal for humans to build doors this size.
Do we have the pictures of the books? The
Oh,
giant books?
I don't have any pictures of the books. I didn't grab.
Let me see what I can find you.
any
Hold on,
pictures of
because
the
that's
books.
another thing. I mean, like the doors, okay, we build giant monuments. And again, as the devil's advocate, like the Basilica of San Lorenzo that the Medici built in Florence, for example.
Look at this one. One's for clearly for a human. One's clearly for someone that's bigger. I mean, I'm just saying, like, clearly.
yeah, right. What else could be going on there?
Right. Like
Right.
it's
That is
kind of
silly.
clear
Right
to me.
next, like, what is that? Like humans only entrance? That's
Yeah, we found
specious.
giant books, you guys, giant
So
musical
specious.
instruments. Oh, I could show them the giant gun. There's a giant gun.
Yeah, oh yeah, the guns. That's why I was saying I think possibly maybe we found some weaponry and maybe, like I said, with the soil liquefaction, I don't know. But yeah, show them the giant guns.
Giant gun. There you go. Yep. It's like Amanda says, huge doors, huge seats, huge books, nothing to see here. Right?
Yeah, always.
We just did that to entertain ourselves because we're
All right,
somewhat
hold on. Let me.
retarded.
I'm telegramming you
All right, what
some
else
stuff
here?
that they can look at now.
All right, here's some more Tartarian architecture. Let me see. And then I want to start taking
Because the
callers. I wanna
doors
see
we
what
might
they
be
say.
able to explain, but I mean the books, like, I mean, what do you need giant ass books for?
See how the Tartarian architecture has a very specific style to it, guys?
Well,
Like,
a lot of it
differs a
looks
little
very
bit, but-
gothic.
Yeah, it's just exquisite. It's amazing.
Australia has quite a bit of the same, and it was funny. Somebody had one of the videos I was watching. Somebody had made the point, like, okay, Australia was settled by freaking prisoners that were just kind of dumped there, and by the time they're claiming that a lot of these buildings were constructed by, you know, they finished construction in the 1850s. So you're saying within 100 years, a bunch of prisoners with basically nothing just went over there and built these big, ginormous buildings like that? Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Right.
You know the thing.
And we were riding buggies and like that, 20 years
I mean, they
later.
literally
It
just
doesn't
dumped
make any sense.
prisoners off on Australia. Like, good luck. And then
Yeah.
you want us to believe that within 100 years, they just built these
Here's
fabulous buildings?
Here's the main Empire of Tartary flag. This is the best photo I could find of it.
Show them the books. I put a couple of them in your,
It's difficult when I got to get them out of the Telegram chat.
well,
So
sorry.
yeah, well, you always got to make it difficult on me, don't you? Let's see.
Oh, maybe there
Hold
are,
on.
the articles are easier for you.
Maybe I can save it. Oh no, it might save. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Hold on.
Ta-da.
Save Tartaria. There we go. Wah, wah, wah. All right. Let's see here. What do we got? Giant books. Let's see. Check
There
out
you go.
giant
So
books.
So again, devil's advocate here. As I was saying, with the San Lorenzo, the Basilica at San Lorenzo that the Medici built in Florence, we know that they built it. They could not figure out how to get the dome on there. We know that they brought in, that the Medici specifically hired a guy. I mean, we have record of that. They were able to finally figure out how to get that dome to stay up on that basilica using like a dome within a dome, right? And granted, that was in like the early 1400s, maybe late 1300s. So I mean, it's not that this is beyond
Lou Bird says
the
blue
capabilities,
avians.
but
Lou Bird says the blue avians and archangels are really tall too. Yes,
I don't doubt that.
good point. I have some friends that are tall birds. They're rather nifty. So yes, I definitely agree with you on that, Lou. Most certainly. But you can't tell everybody that you have friends that are birds. Everybody knows I like birds already, so it's not that weird. All right, so there's more of the Tartarian architecture. Let me see what else we got before we open up the calls.
Right. So we
Yes.
know the giants were here, though. I mean, that makes some kind of sense to me. You know,
There-
and the
there's some
fact
more.
that they scrubbed the history. Like, what are you doing that for?
Like, yeah, why are they scrubbing the history? And why do all these tall buildings have these antennas like this? It's
Well,
weird.
where's the picture I sent you that showed the energy? I sent it to you earlier. It should have been in your telegram.
What do you mean the energy, friend? Like, what do you mean?
Let me find it.
You mean these little trumpet things? Oh, this
Well,
thing here. No, I see what you're talking about.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
Within the dome.
Yeah. What is this? What's going on here? You can't read what it says.
How
So
they-
can you explain to them what that is?
Well, basically, they were trying to show how they could have had a free energy apparatus being housed within these giant domes. And then you can see how they have, the antenna at the very top there, to act as a conduit.
Hey, remember Back to the Future? Such gigawatts. You know what I mean? Remember they put the antenna on the clock tower? I'm just
There you
saying,
go.
it all comes down to Back to the Future, okay? That's what it all
does.
comes
It
down
really
to
does.
in the end.
88 miles an hour, man. 88 miles an hour. That's all we need.
All right, so let's see what else we should show quick.
Well,
before we...
Lou Bird says Tesla before Tesla. Well, where Tesla even said he got some information and some downloads. Who
Right.
told Tesla?
There's a couple more pictures here. So this is more Tartarian. Is this the Tartarian?
1.21 gigawatts, Nicholas Houston says.
Yeah, hey, Nicholas Houston's on it. He's got it.
Right?
1.21 gigawatts. That's right. Something's going on here. But look at that. Look at the size of that. And they think, parts of California. They think California, which didn't fully look like California there, was part of it. They think San Francisco.
Kind of an island. That water was
Right.
running up through there. Mhm.
Allegedly, San Francisco was, part of it. This was a huge thing, So Barry says Venusians. Yeah, I think there's some kind of thing going on with Venus and us, and who knows? They have hidden everything from us.
Russia did claim Venus as their own, remember?
Yeah, and Tesla allegedly is from Venus, allegedly. So
Dun,
yeah,
dun, dun.
right. And then we got these guys, which are found all over the planet, which giant skeletons, giant doors, right? Like, it's only logical, right? So, where did they go? If they still live here, I don't think they live on the surface anymore because we don't really see them. So why did they go underground or wherever they went? Do they have ships? Do they have spaceships? I mean, we got to ask
If they
these
were as
questions.
pissy as the original giants, if they were as pissy as the Nephilim, I could see why they got hunted down.
So, I mean, it's a deep one, guys. Let me pull Foxhole back up here.
Right?
So
We
I
want to
can
hear
see
your
chat.
theories.
We
If
want to
you
hear
guys,
your theories, you guys. We want to hear what you think and, what you think is going on with this. So on that note, let me go ahead and open up for callers. All right, let me go ahead and put the link in the chat here. Let me see here.
Yes, Fearless. Electromagnetic energy from the ether. Yes, metal plated face shop. The giant swords. I saw those too. There's just, stuff that is completely inexplicable as far as I'm concerned.
All right, let's see if I can get it put in here. All right, so the link's there. Meeting ID and passcode is up on the screen. Yeah, Woke One says 6 fingers and toes and 2 rows of teeth. Yep, allegedly, and red hair. And see, we found what? We found those elongated skulls with the red hair. Allegedly, the giants have the red hair.
Well, I mean, a lot of the druids were supposedly red-headed magical beings that were often born with 6 fingers and 6 toes, and then, I think we started, even when people are born that way now, they start lopping off digits.
Hi, Due Diligence. Good to see you.
Hello.
Yes. So we will be happy.
You know what else? Speaking of the Kazakhs, going back to that CIA document, where did they put the new NWO capital? In Astana, in Kazakhstan. Have you seen that? I know I have. I have to have sent you. If you guys look up Astana, Astana, tell me that's not NWO all day. It's like the most beautiful city right in the middle of freaking Kazakhstan. And
I wonder. Go ahead.
I'm not
Finish
going
your
to.
thought.
I was going to say, just to be kind of political, there were maybe sons of certain people that were in Kazakhstan doing shady deals. Also, I had posted about that.
Go ahead and call in, Gary. I see Gary over there on Foxhole. Go ahead and call in, Gary. The meeting ID and
Give us a
passcode
ring.
is on the screen. We're going to use Zoom tonight. We're not using Discord. And I also posted the link directly to call in right there in the chat too, Gary. All you got to do is pick it up, or you should be able to call one of the numbers. I don't know. I've never called into a show. Hey, Neo, what's going on? Good show with Greenbeard earlier.
Oh, I see. Is
She's
Greenbeard
doing
here?
so good. Yeah, he was
It
here a
looks
minute
like,
ago, I think.
yeah, it looks like he gave us maybe a diamond. Thank you. Sean Joe, I see, just dropped another diamond. Thank you.
Looks like Fearless is here. Fearless has something to add to the Tartaria conversation. Welcome to the
Tell us all
conspiracy.
about those tartan plaids, sir.
Welcome to the conspiracy couch, Fearless.
What's up, ladies?
What's going on?
Hello.
Yeah, not a lot. Just watching you two and just having a laugh and, you know, the usual.
Are we that entertaining?
Having a bit of a carry on, you know me.
There you go. Just a wee
Alright,
bit.
so, what do we want to talk about then? Where do we want to start? Because I've got a load of interesting stuff to talk about.
Well, what do you?
Well-
where are you leaning with the Tartaria rabbit hole? What do you think?
Well,
what do you
I
think
can
about the
tell
mud
you that-
floods?
I can tell you what I think the origins of the whole thing is, all right, the way up to the mud floods.
All right.
How about it?
Well, you know, Corey Good talked about the war between Mars and Maldek
Mm-hmm.
and how Maldek is now the asteroid belt.
Right.
Well, as far as I can understand, Maldek is where the red-headed, six-fingered, six-toed, double rows of teeth giant stayed,
I
and
have
the
heard this.
pre-Adamites lived on Mars. And
You
they
think they
warred.
come from there? You think the
Yeah,
giants
and they're
come
the
from Maldek?
refugees. Yeah, they were the refugees of the Anunnaki and stuff that basically were from Atlantis as well. The
Yeah.
Tartarian Empire is essentially a direct carryover from the Nephilim and Atlantis.
I can see that.
I could see that. Yeah. So how did they pull this off of getting rid of this? Did they put everybody to sleep and?
Well, what happened was they essentially ended up going to war again, and the pre-Adamites basically wiped them out. And what they did was turned everything into churches and colleges and banks and all the rest of the stuff, and basically just wiped it from history. And I don't know. See, the thing with the mud floods is I don't know whether they had access to some sort of cataclysmic vibrational weapon.
That's
that
why I
just
said
basically-
soil liquefaction.
Yeah, that just caused the soil to liquidate and just caused the entire mud flood. I think there's some serious high tech involved in it, because that whole electromagnetic ether connecting stuff, their whole civilization was ran on free energy, all of it. They
That's
pumped
what it looks.
cymatic
That's
music.
what it looks
They used
that
to
way.
they pumped cymatic music into all the houses and buildings for healing, to heal everyone
You know-
all the time. Everyone had perfect health.
Fearless. I was listening to, who was it the other day? The Australian gentleman, Max Egan, okay? And he was talking
Oh, yeah.
about the organs, you know, the beautiful, elaborate organs, how they're in all these churches and who put them there and why, and they're expensive and elaborate. And how he was saying the same thing, that they were there for healing. They weren't there to play hymns.
Yeah, it's sacred geometry and acoustics. It's all part of cymatics. It's all part of the fabric of creation. That all that stuff's hidden from us. See, this is all the knowledge that the Masons like to keep secret with their, you know, all their buildings and their sacred technology and their sacred geometry. Because what it does is it accentuates and heightens your consciousness and your spiritual connections, so you can make better connections with higher realms.
Right.
And this is all hidden from us, you know.
And it's not that hard to change what it is, what's accepted by the majority of people. I mean, you tell
It's
a
really
generation,
thoughtful,
you know, and they tell the next generation, and then that's it. Like, it's gone. It's very easy for them to wipe history. And now, especially now that they're trying to get rid of written word, everything is digital. How easy. Look how they changed the definition of herd, you know, immune. I won't even go into we want to watch those words, but right, you feel me? Look how easy they changed the definitions of things, and then within a generation, that's just it. That's just going to be the definition. There's going to be nobody left to argue about it.
It doesn't take long. It literally only takes a generation if it's done properly.
Yes, that's crazy. That's
You
crazy.
can
Everybody
change the
thinks they know,
You can
but they
change
don't
the
know.
perception of a whole culture in one generation if you do it right.
Absolutely. Subversion. It's just a tactic of subversion. You know.
Yeah. So have you two got anything to add to my little bit there for Tartaria?
Well, I tend to be on board with that. Like I said, I think there was another war. I think that there was some sort of... Did you pull up the pictures, Alara, of those weird trumpety looking things?
It was definitely a war, 100%.
They claim, now these pictures Alara's about to pull up, they claim that these were used to listen for aircraft before radar, okay? Maybe, but it seems kind of fishy to me. I can't even, it makes no freaking sense, to be perfectly honest. But
I've not seen them. I'd have to see them.
She's gonna pull them up, but I mean, the idea that maybe they found some things and they repurposed them.
Yeah,
like that one I think was from World War II, the first one you show, and then the second one was actually from World War I.
Likely.
Let me find the other picture. I'll pull up the other one right now.
But I mean, it's wild. Like, I mean, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Well, have you heard the story about Berlin Zoo?
Do tell.
Berlin Zoo is apparently built on a star fortress that housed the city.
Star forts.
Yeah.
We
right,
didn't even
I
show
totally
the
forgot
star.
about the star
so look,
forts.
you gotta
Star
look into the
forts.
star forts, you guys. That's wild.
Forts.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
forgot
man.
to put the star forts in here. That's a
Oh, I had
whole...
to mention it because I didn't remember hearing you say anything about it, so I thought I'd bring it
No,
up.
that's right. Now go ahead, tell the Berlin Zoo. Go ahead, tell more.
Well, essentially, there was a visit to Berlin Zoo, and what they basically discovered was it had a magical atmosphere that was inherited from the Star Fortress that housed the city, and how all the world architecture, basically for the 7,000 years up to that date, was all part of there, and how it was designed to extract electromagnetic energy from the ether,
Yes.
and it's all there.
And they have these all over North America too. There are some in New Mexico. There are some that look like they're just mounds now covered in grass. There are some in New York. They're up by the Great Lakes.
Do you know the extent of the empire, Foyle? It was Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, and the Americas. It was massive.
Yeah,
absolutely. It was
pretty
like
much
the
the
Atlantean
entire
Empire.
globe.
Yeah, it was like the Atlantean Empire. Same thing. Pretty much global.
Interesting.
For
Interesting.
sure. But they want you to think it was contained in, Central Eurasia when we didn't know how to properly drive maps. Like, come on now.
Right.
They have to bury high civilization for
Maybe
they can't have us knowing.
Maybe they wanted to cover it up because of the gas, coal, and oil thing to do the magic money manipulation on us. They couldn't.
There's myriad reasons for it, Alara. Myriad reasons for it.
Right.
I'm sure that's probably a good one, though. I mean, you don't. Again, the free energy thing, we've known that for this isn't new information. They just don't want us to have it.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's just Tesla tech, isn't it? They knew all about it. Tesla knew about it. He was trying to bring it back.
All right, Fearless. Right. I got 2 people in the waiting room, so.
Right, I'm gonna jump out. No worries.
Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you. Love you.
Anytime. Love you too.
All
bye.
All right. Bye bye. Man. All right, let me see who was.
We forgot about the Star Force. I think there might be some in that video. That's why I said don't get rid of it completely yet. We might be able to pull up a little bit and kind of go through. I don't really remember, but I'm 90% sure.
All right, so let's see. All right, we got 678-761 coming in right now.
Hello, welcome to Conspiracy Couch.
Hey, what's up, Alara and Loyal?
How's it going?
Who are we speaking with?
Yeah, it's Storm Shadow. I like to call into our Big Dumb Now from time to time. I'm not sure if you're aware of them, but Sam Tripoli has come on.
Oh yeah, I love Sam. that's my guy.
Yeah.
So Tartaria is kind of a favorite niche subject of mine, but yeah, I mean, last guy covered a lot. I didn't hear all of it because I was trying to call in. I had that nice background music in my ear, but have you ever heard of the cultural layer?
The what?
The cultural
layer. And there's a Reddit. That's where I first found like Mudflood and Tartaria. And they claim
I am in the
like
Tartaria Reddit, but do tell.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to go to any ancient site like Rome or Egypt, you got to dig down like hundreds of feet to get to the ancient artifacts. Like, I mean, Göbekli Tepe was buried intentionally, but you go back to Rome, you dig 100 feet down, you're finding like shop fronts. And they claim that's just because, trash and horse poop built up over thousands of years, and that's why everything's buried.
Right.
All right, so I guess y'all aren't aware of that. I think that's super, super interesting. But anyways, to Tartaria, yeah, it probably covered, the United States and Russia, and I think those towers are probably aether physics, and I would say that's related to Schumann resonance.
What's Acer physics? What's Acer physics?
Ether. With
Oh,
an A
ether,
in front.
ether. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of what some people called it. But yeah,
Schumann resonance, that makes sense too.
Yeah, I was hoping y'all know about the mud flood and that whole thing, but the cultural layer, I mean, you go basically any city, even in the U.S., and you'll see like basements that have like a window poking out, and it's like only a partial top of a window. And it's like, what's going on here? And the literal archaeological like explanation is like, well, shit just got buried by horse poop and trash, and it just built another floor on top. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, they give that excuse a lot. I mean, I couldn't understand when you first called in. I know what you're talking. Yes, the cultural, like an accretion layer that builds up. They build societies. They continually build on top of what was there before. The problem with that is a lot of times societies don't exactly dump trash where they live. We'll find. I did. As a matter of fact, I have one of my undergraduate degrees is in anthropology, and it's we will find trash heaps from old societies. You can go through and discern quite a lot about the civilization from the trash they left behind. But very often, it's not like they just left trash where they were at. Like if you look at some of the pictures we showed in the beginning of the show, like what you were talking about how there are little windows and doors and there are layers underneath of the dirt, like Pittsburgh, for instance, they have a good cutaway where you can see at street level underneath of there. I mean, there are stories of building and layers upon layers upon layers, and it wasn't covered up because of trash. It was covered up, you can see, because the dirt came in, the mud came in. My question is, what were these? I mean, like I said, my theory is they were targeted attacks because of a war. I mean, that's the only logical explanation that I can think of for how there would have been a literal flood of mud that would come into these areas to cover things like that, and then we just build on top of it.
That's awesome. I'm sorry, I actually didn't catch the first 25 minutes of the show. I didn't get a notification, so my bad about that.
I don't know why.
They don't. They never do.
Yeah,
they. That's why I always tell people to follow my social media. It's the only way you'll even know if the show's on or how, because they never send people notifications.
We had pulled up quite a few images.
I know you got another caller, so I don't want to keep you, but I wanted to add one last thing. But yeah, so the buried things, of course, I guess you covered in that first 25 minutes I didn't catch. But what I called into OBDN Midnight Fight last night was I caught two podcasts that were very interesting. One was 1515 of Joe Rogan. It was, I think his name is Dr. Bradley Garrett. Mm-hmm. He's an urban explorer, and he was talking about exploring London. He got down to the sewers in the first level, and then he got down like the tubes and the communication layer and the trunk layer, and they got down into a layer beneath that, sort of a service layer, and they said the fourth layer is sort of the underground bunkers. And we get to the fifth layer, we get into what we Americans would call deep underground military bases.
Right.
And then which kind of crazy. I mean, it's like this camera turned around on us, and like zoomed around. We opened this manhole cover, and it just zoomed in on us. But what I'd like to tie that to is Special Forces Green Berets and Navy SEAL podcast. This guy named Jack Carr that writes novels. I haven't read any of them. It's Ananda Plume or whatever. It's not his real name. But this other guy, Mike Glover, who's a former Green Beret Special Forces, said on his podcast, he was like, yeah, after I rotated back from Afghanistan, I went to this special school and this special school, and then I went to this unit. And then he said this unit is sort of in limbo right now. They've gone deep underground. And I'm like, oh, it's strange. But his next sentence literally says, yeah, they're trained to fight in underground tunnels. I'm like, okay, that seems disclosure. Like, I don't know what they're fighting. I mean, it's, well, let's just assume Korea or China, but I mean, who knows what the government's got deep underground military.
Oh, there's so much underground. I don't know if you remember, but maybe in June of last year, DARPA was having this. They needed somebody to give them an underground bunker with like they posted an ad with like a 3-day notice where we weren't really sure, but I guess the theory is that they were having some sort of a robotics competition. They're training these robots to go underground and clear out things that are already underground, to go explore underground. Like, they're very concerned about what's underground. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree totally. I'll let y'all go. Love y'all's show. Love Space Force News.
Thank you.
Have a good night, y'all.
Much
You
love.
too.
Have a good night.
Thank you
Thanks
for calling
calling.
in.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night. I love it when we have a first-time caller. So I guess Gary's having all kinds of problems calling into the show. The meeting ID and the password is on the screen, Gary. And I sent you the link directly to your email to get into the meeting on Zoom. All you got to do is
be able to click the
you should be able to
out of the email.
Yeah, you should be able to click that hyperlink right out of your email and get in. So I'm doing everything I can, buddy, to try to get you in the show. Well, I'm sorry, Gary. We didn't know until the last minute that we were going to do it through Zoom. So
the Discord. We thought we were going to run Discord today. We're going to try that here shortly. We need.
And I thought you were well aware of how to use it because I've seen you on other people's podcasts. So I didn't even think that it would be an issue, or I would have said something. So hopefully they can they can help you figure out how to do that. It shouldn't be that much of a challenge. The meeting ID password is up there, and the regular link is both in the chat, and I emailed it to your email.
Well, while we're waiting, pull that video back up. If we don't have anybody in the waiting room, pull it back up and see if we can find the Star Force, because that's very interesting. And and in some places they've built military installations over top of the forts that are existing now, and then they have. I mean, some of them are open to the public for just to visit. But you can see from aerial views that they're very distinctive in their in their design, and I think that.
Right.
Go ahead.
I can try to pull up a picture of Star Forts, but I'm surprised more people aren't calling right now, because this is I know people have stuff to add to this topic. So quit being scared, friends, and call in with your Tartaria thoughts.
Alara's worried. Somebody call, right?
Right. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Tartaria's Star Forts, or just put in Star Forts. We should do a live dig sometimes. That would be fun. Like, this is kind of one of those things too, where you're just gonna be here for a while.
Well, we're.
All right, so let me show you guys Star Forts. Check this out. So this is what we're talking about. These things are all over the place, and they kind of go along with the rest of the Tartaria stuff. But these are the Star Forts. They're all over the place, and they're just so cool. Look at this. Look at this one. Look at that.
I mean, look at clearly the geometry on those is.
Look at that. Right? It seems really Atlantean, doesn't it, you guys? I mean, it kind of does. It's all of that.
Funny. It makes me think of Stargate Atlantis. When you think of the shape of the city on the show was kind of like a star fort. Oh.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch Galaxy S10. Can we get a name for you?
It looks like they're still trying to connect their sound.
All right. So yeah, look at these Star Forts. These are fascinating.
Oh, you can unmute your mic.
You can unmute your mic, caller. Can we get a name for you?
I got it. I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. How are you? Welcome to the couch.
I just wanted to let Gary know this was super easy.
Well, he's
if you don't have Zoom installed, do you have to install Zoom? I don't even think you do. I think you just have to click on the link and then click Open Zoom Meetings.
I know Gary's been researching for this, so.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Right, we were. hoping that he would call in. Are you familiar with the topic?
Kind of, but in a different aspect. But yeah.
Okay.
But
You have
see,
anything to add?
see, with the Tartarian and all and the mud flood, I believe, well, not believe, but I've seen different aspects and documentaries and stuff with the mud flood to where it happened after, like, I think the Atlanteans kind of did their thing and they split the earth with what they were trying to do. And I feel like the mud flood happened after that. And
I
but
happen to agree. I think that there was a second
Reset.
occurrence,
Yeah.
that happened maybe 1600, 1700, right then, and then from that point on, we claimed their architecture, we claimed their buildings, we claimed whatever tech we found, we claimed and stored, and then figured out how to use. Like I tend to agree with that. I think the Lanteans were here, probably at the end of the Younger Dryas, and maybe that's when they left.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, this is all theory.
Could it be the remnant?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think people there was people that lived over from Atlantis, and maybe these are the remnants of their, I mean.
I'm sure people,
if there was a worldwide civilization, right?
Yeah, I mean, they had to have hung around or inbred or they're hiding somewhere. I don't freaking know. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what like you said, maybe that's why we're going underground. Maybe they are underground. Maybe that's what the inner earth people are.
I know, exactly.
I've thought that for a while, that some of those groups down there, I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but some of those have to be Atlanteans that survived.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't live up here either. I'd go live down there, especially if I was that technologically advanced. You know?
Well, you have an infant sun in our earth, so I mean, well, that's just if you want to believe that, but
yeah. So
interesting always,
definitely.
Right? It'd be nice if we could just figure out for sure what happened.
It'd be nice if we could read all the books in the Vatican Library.
I know, it's just fun to actually want to know the truth. So it's all just fun to speculate and just, yeah. Thank you. Thank you
so much for calling in. Have a blessed evening.
You.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, who do we got here now?
Let me see who we got here. Let me see. Did Gary make it in, or is this someone else?
I don't know. You can unmute your mic, caller.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch. Can we get a name for you?
Yeah, it's Storm Shadow again. Sorry, I forgot to mention something, and y'all were like, not having callers, and of course, y'all got plenty when I was in the waiting room.
Yeah, somebody fell off. I don't know what happened.
No, it's fine. What I was sharing in chat and really want y'all to pull up is please look up the World's Fairs. You want to look up to Tartaria, and maybe so. These things are insane. I mean, the official story is they're made out of like paper mache and just temporary. But if you want to look up Tartarian structures, look up the Chicago World's Fair. I don't know all of them. But they had like a third of the population going in the early 1900s, late 1800s. They unveiled electricity at Chicago. And these things look like the most insane cities you can even wrap your mind around.
15 amazing structures originally built for the World's Fair. Allegedly, these were temporary buildings they built for the World's Fair. But clearly, there could be more
we got somebody else here. I'll let you go, but I wanted to tell y'all.
No, I'm glad you brought that
stuff. That'll blow your mind.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about that. I was looking at some of that stuff earlier. They were used almost as a point of deception, like to convince the people that this was us.
Yeah, no, I actually think it almost seems like they convinced the people that these were temporary structures to tear them down and erase history.
Right.
Most possibly.
Yeah, look at this.
They're like, hey, look at all these things. Yeah. But yeah, I'll let you go. I'm calling in the second time, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So y'all have a good night.
We understand
Yeah,
what you
keep
did.
going.
Thank you so much
Yes,
for your
thank you.
input.
All right.
Have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.
You too.
All right. So yeah, let me go ahead and let in the next caller. All right. Let's see here. What do we got? I'm not sure who. Oh, I think 360 was first. So I'm going to let 360 and then I'll let you in, Dana. Hi, caller. Welcome to the
Hello.
Conspiracy Couch. Can we get a name for you?
Yeah, this is Phil Christophers.
Oh, hi, Phil. How you doing?
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to speak to you, ladies.
Yeah, it's great to speak to you
yeah,
too.
I'm not sure if what I got is. I'm going to say it's not probably Tartaria, because I went on a tour in Seattle, Washington, and
Okay.
a tour of the underground.
Yeah.
You know, like there's
Okay.
a whole story with the streets and everything, and they just paved over the top of it.
So they got a bunch of
Yeah.
underground
lower
stuff there
part-
too.
I lived there too. I saw a lot of. They've got coffee shops and stuff underground because there's so much stuff underground.
Right? Yeah. It's like a whole underground there,
Yeah.
and and I know that there's a place in Edinburgh, England, or Edinburgh, Scotland. Excuse me, like that too.
Well, Scotland, I mean, that would definitely make sense. I mean, there's like I said, keep saying earlier, I was teasing Fearless about the tartan plaid. I mean, there's a reason they call it that. There's so much stuff underground that we have no
I got
idea.
some photos of the Seattle Underground while you discussed that. Let me go ahead and show them some photos.
So you just went on a
I think
tour
I've got-
there, or?
Well, yeah, it was some time ago, but yeah, I paid for the tour, and my girlfriend at the time and I went on it. It was kind of cool.
Look at
But
that.
yeah, they just paved right over the top of it.
Oh, that's wild.
Paved over
Yeah.
Paradise and moved in a parking lot. No,
Right?
Yeah, look at that.
but as to the when they say this Tartarian, I mean, I'm a little suspicious if it's coming from the CIA. I'm just gonna say right
Oh,
out.
I understand.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a little problem with that, but I do know that there was a landmass. I mean, pretty much I know that I believe, let's put it that way, that Atlantis is now Antarctica.
Right. That is entirely possible. We know there are a lot of things going on down there, and a lot of structures that are.
I can't remember who told me.
There's even the. I'm sorry.
But I hear that Atlantis was a global civilization, and maybe the main part of it, the epicenter, was Antarctica. Is that what you've heard? Something similar?
Well, I mean, here's some of the things that I know about Antarctica that makes it kind of similar. Is because there's a line of volcanoes.
Yeah.
On the western side of Antarctica, and that kind of corresponds to what Plato's
yes.
recollection of Atlantis, the continent of Atlantis. Of course, and that gets into that cataclysm where Earth just like the crust moves and stuff just starts floating all around, right?
Right.
And I'm not too certain about that, whether that actually happens like that, but I could see. Yeah, I agree that Atlantis and Lemuria or Mu were both global civilizations.
Right.
That they either had, and I kind of like what you're saying about that architecture might. I mean, this is something that Tesla had talked about. He got his idea for his towers from the pyramids, right? And we know the pyramids emit a energy up. I mean, I build pyramids, so I know about pyramids.
Yeah.
They are power.
Absolutely.
They're power generators.
Yeah.
They are damn sure power generators. I've got a couple of them here in my house.
Me
right
too.
now.
I have a really cool organite, pyramid that I keep right next to my bed. Actually, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Big Hair
that's what I
Tsunami,
make.
thank
That's what I
you
make.
for the Ninjagini. While I see it up here on the screen, thank you.
Yeah, and the thing is, folks, we're not alone. Even when we think we're alone, we're not alone.
1 second.
Was
Gary's
that,
Gary's in the waiting room. You're there successfully, Gary. I see you, so don't go anywhere. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I won't keep you long. I just wanted
Oh
to
no,
say
you're fine.
Is that you know, I mean, I got spirits all around me, folks. I mean, I'm pretty sure you do too.
Oh, listen, I fully understand. I'm all about the awareness of sharing space.
Yeah.
Right, and well, I mean, the angelics, they'll turn their back when you're, you know, going to the bathroom and stuff like that. They don't want to get into your personal business.
Well, thank gosh.
But,
you know, I'd hate to have I'm having
but yeah,
audience.
they are here to help, and just call them. Yeah.
Yep,
And
I
I'll
agree.
get off there right now.
I agree. Well, Phil,
Well,
thank
much
you.
love.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, much love. Yeah, love and light to you all.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Have a
It
blessed
was
evening.
good to hear from you.
Absolutely. All right, let me see. Let's see here.
Hello, ladies.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
You're so good. You knew to unmute yourself. I didn't even have to unmute you. Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch, Dana. It's been a while. How are you?
It's good. I'm doing well, thanks. This is a fascinating topic. I don't think I have ever heard of it.
Oh, there's so much here. And
I'm
we're
like,
newbies.
am I from a different timeline that like I don't know of any of this?
I had never heard of it. I had never heard of it either. I'm trying to mute Gary right now while you're talking, but let me see. It's not giving me that option for some reason to mute him. So Gary, can you keep your mic muted for just a minute while Dana's talking? Because I can't figure out how to mute you here for some reason. All right,
no,
go ahead,
there's
Dana.
a lot here, Dana. There's a lot here, Dana, and we are new to this too, for sure.
Yeah,
Like I said, I
like,
heard mention
really-
of it in elementary school, but then that was it. You know.
I never heard of
don't
it till a year
remember
ago.
any of this.
No, like
Any
6
of it.
months ago is the first time I ever saw any of this stuff or even heard of it. Like 6 months ago, I think it was Kate that told me about Tartaria and started digging into it.
I remember her talking about that when we were in Sedona.
And
Oh,
I'm still
wow.
digging, and I'm still digging and digging and digging, and I still can't figure it out. Like, I don't know what to think about the mud flood thing. Like, I really don't know what to think about that. But there's something about this architecture, the giant doors, the giant, books and all that stuff. Clearly, and there's something with these windows being under. Clearly, something was buried. I don't know when. I don't know when it was buried and why.
It must have been global.
Yeah.
I mean,
And what's with the
was there another
antennas?
flood?
What's with the antennas on all the buildings? That's wild.
I don't know, but that's fascinating. I want to dig more into that and figure out if it was for healing purposes. So I do have a memory of actually being on Atlantis, though, and I was there when it was sinking. I was a high priestess in training, and so they put me in, the priest was putting me in this egg-shaped pod that ran on magnetic energy of the earth. And he was on a ladder and he was pushing a lot of scrolls and crystals into it.
Mm-hmm.
And as he was saying, go, 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 and as I was lifting off and leaving, a warrior was stabbing him to death. There were earthquakes happening all around and volcanoes were going off all at the same time.
Whoa.
And I know I went towards like either Central or South America.
Well, it's crazy that you mentioned that, because one of the theories that I ran across looking into this was that there was some sort of multiple impact scenario where like maybe something had broken apart and came down and crashed down, which caused there to be multiple earthquakes and multiple eruptions, and something that would have caused fluctuations in the water level that would have, sunk quite a few things.
Yeah, and
No.
like when I recalled that memory, it's like I was turning back and I was seeing the island sink as I was leaving.
That's crazy.
Do you think that some of these folks from that civilization still live here, perhaps in the inner
Yes.
earth? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I totally think I'm a lineage from there.
Right. I think so too.
So, and I know when my dad was half Cherokee,
Yeah.
and so I was doing research on that, and there's stories that the Cherokees came from the Pleiades, but they went to Atlantis first. And when Atlantis first, they came to the Americas.
Interesting.
I could see that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I can't figure out my old connections with that kind of. That's really cool that you have that memory, that you have something to go off of.
Yeah.
Mike, some of mine are so out there, like whatever you want to call them, past lives or whatever, that I don't even talk about them because I still don't understand what I was shown, and let alone try to talk about it. You know what I mean? So that's cool.
Was it because you were like a different species or on a different planet?
Yeah, I wasn't human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't. I don't know. There was humans there, so I don't know if I was on this planet. I don't think so. Or another planet. But what's crazy in that particular one is at some point I got in a situation with the humans, okay? And they were anyway, I got in a situation with the humans. I had to bounce and go back to my planet around my people. And I left. And I had this whole drama that played out with this human being, and he showed up, and it's a long story. But I don't know if the humans I was interacting with where I left that planet, I went through a Stargate. So I don't know if that was Earth or it was like they acted sort of medieval, these people. But I don't think we had ETs walking around on the ground then. So it confuses me. I'm like, it had to have been another planet or something. I don't know.
No, I think that there's been ETs walking among us for a very long time. And even in religious paintings, there's UFOs in them and everything.
Right. I wonder when they started hiding from us. And when did that agreement get reached where they weren't allowed to show themselves here? You know?
Well, I don't know. It like, are the giants part of an ET race?
See, that's what I don't get too. Like the Bigfoots, they clearly they manifest in the third dimension, and people see them and interact with them and whatever, but they're technically extraterrestrials, right? So how come they're allowed to do that, but the other guys don't do it? Or is it, that's what confuses me about the whole dynamic, and I wish we could learn the truth. Like, I don't understand why some can do that, are allowed, and other words can't. It almost seems like only the negative ones do that. But then again, I don't really perceive Bigfoot as being negative. So
no.
But then again, Bigfoot isn't obvious.
Really interact either.
No, Bigfoot doesn't really interact. Bigfoot does their job, and if they get seen, maybe when they get seen, it's on accident. You know what I mean? Maybe they travel in their energetic form. You know, it seems like only the bad guys manifest down here. Like,
yes, that's what I keep saying. The ones that are interacting are the problems.
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder also, like, if it is consciousness dependent. So if our consciousness is at a certain level, we can see into other dimensions where other beings are. So they could actually be right beside us, but if they're at a different frequency and we're at a different frequency, we wouldn't be able to see them. But then other people whose consciousness are different might be able to see into that dimension.
That makes sense. I mean, it makes sense.
And everything is frequency and vibration. So,
but clearly at one time these guys were walking around, because just you look at the Egyptian stuff alone. There's clearly guys that are not us with human bodies and different heads walking around. And it was like normal to everybody then. It wasn't like a big deal, you know?
Right.
So,
and even all those buildings like you were showing earlier with the big tall doors, I've always go like, they wouldn't have made a big tall door because humans back then were smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was made for the other species.
Yep.
And I don't know, it just, but it's like right in front of our eyes and nothing to see here, you know?
Right.
Stamp it out.
Yeah, I've been going down this one for a while too, and I'm gonna tell you, there's like no end to it. What you can dig on this stuff. It's interesting what that guy said too. It could be a psyop, you know, the whole Tartaria thing. But I think there's just too many traces of this civilization in too many books and in too many places for it to be just a psyop.
Are you talking about, he said he didn't trust the CIA? I don't know that he necessarily meant that it was a psyop. I think he's just saying he just doesn't trust the CIA in general. But I think that document was taken from just an account of somebody talking about how it wasn't even Tartary specific. It was talking about how the communists would constantly roll over cultures and rewrite things. And then he used that as an example. So I mean, I get it. Like, I don't trust a lot that those people say either. But
there's always psyop. And I notice this too, even when there's videos that come out with ships and ETs, stuff like that. If they're legit, boy, they'll come out with a fake one right behind it and put it up in the search engine so that when people go to find it, they go, it's been debunked. Look, it's this CGI video. No, there's a real one if you know where to look. There's a real one. That's the reason they're doing that in the first place. So it's just such a mind game on this planet. I just can't wait till that comes to an end, you know?
And I hope it's a lot sooner than later.
Yeah. It'd be nice to know our actual history and be able to study it, you know, and not be so
and I
deceived.
think that with like hypnogression, we can actually tap into what our original history is.
Right? Yeah.
So I think it's all there. It's just us learning how to remember and tap back into it.
Right.
And trust what's coming to us instead of like, that doesn't make any sense. Like really trust the information.
Well, that's what we're trained to do.
Or that's my imagination.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's my imagine. That's not possible. That's not, we're always, it's not possible. You know what I mean? That's not possible. And it's that limits us. That's why all the ancient texts talk about faith. Like you literally can't make that energetic shift. What do you want to call it? That frequency shift. You can't make that shift without faith, period. Like this is something I've come to learn on a very personal level. It's a requirement. You literally can't do it. So it's vital, you know, is having faith, and we're programmed to not have it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the hard part, I think, about the whole thing. So
well, hopefully we will figure it all out soon for sure.
Yeah.
I think people though are gaining more and more faith, especially through this past year. I know my faith has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No doubt. But I before I woke up, I didn't have it, you know. I have it now, but I know everybody's got their individual path to waking up, but you know, faith was certainly a struggle for me before I had the experiences I did that showed me that the world that I was taught is not real. So, you know, I can only pray that everybody has that experience. So
everything is so backwards nowadays. Well, I'll let you go so that Gary can.
Much love.
Thank you, Dana, so much for calling in. It's great to see you.
Nice to see you guys.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Gary, you made it. You're here.
You made it. Look, rocking the foxhole picture.
Yeah, look at the foxhole picture in the background.
Patiently waiting. I know. I heard you had a whole bunch of information on
and
this
he drinks
topic.
Diet
Hit
Pepsi.
us with it.
Look at that.
I know. Look at that.
Fool's a big fan.
Right.
Can you hear us, Gary? Can you hear us?
Well, he's probably watching the stream. He'll know in just a second.
Oh, we can't hear him. Oh, no. We can't hear you,
He's
Gary.
not talking yet.
Yeah, he is.
Is he? Oh, I'm watching the stream now.
He can hear us, but we can't hear him. Man. Oh.
Maybe try and call back one more time while nobody else is on the line.
Yeah, try to call back while nobody. Hang up and come back in. Okay.
Right.
Or maybe it's probably his audio setting. It should just connect though. He shouldn't have to change an audio setting in there.
Well,
he's gonna try.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes.
I had to find the button. Okay. Just like I was so mad at myself. Like I was so mad at myself because I couldn't figure out how to do it, and then I just kept at it.
Well, we are glad to have you with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, lovely ladies, for inviting me on the show.
Well, thank you for joining us.
So, yeah, you gotta mute the stream.
I just muted the stream.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. I wore a collared shirt for you young ladies.
You look great,
whoa.
Gary. You look
nice. And
snappy,
wait. Okay. I wore my favorite blue jeans.
All right. Awesome.
You're the first show I've been on with pants on.
Look at that. We are winning
flattered.
tonight.
That's right.
Right?
Okay. Now I spent 40 hours researching this since I talked to you with the emails.
Yeah.
And from the stuff I've done with the pyramids, because I'm fascinated by the pyramids, I have a total nother theory on this.
Okay.
That I want to throw at you.
Let's do it.
I feel at one time the water level on this planet was somewhere between 140 feet lower.
Okay, I agree.
I think Atlantis and that other continent is still there.
You think it's underwater?
I think there was a major war that cracked the earth, and a lot of the water under the earth came up on, and that's what caused the flood, which caused all the mud stuff.
You mean the ocean that they're proving now is under the ground? Remember, I don't know. I'm sure you didn't see the show.
Under the
yes,
ground.
there's another ocean under our feet.
I think there was giants. think there was 2 species on this planet at one time, us and giants.
Yeah.
I think that at one time Tartarian ruled 80% of the world, and it was run like states, just like the United States is now.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my friend Berserker Bear has a lot of old books on this from his dad and his grandpa on this subject, and you really need to get him on this show, because when it comes to mud, he is great, and he's on Berserker Bear on YouTube. You want to see stuff about mud, go check him out. He's an old friend that I used to chat with all the time when Greg was on YouTube years ago. Me and him are great friends. And because of this, me and him got phone numbers exchanged, and we're talking again. I love it. But I seriously think that there's more than one great flood on this planet, and I think this was one of them.
Right.
I think there was war. I think a couple of states maybe succeeded. They totally screwed up the planet, and it almost totally killed off the giants in what happened.
You think they're still giants? You think they're still giants?
There's still a Bigfoot. There's still.
Yeah.
There's so many places to hide on this earth that we don't even look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, we know a lot of things come up out of the water for sure,
Yeah,
and it's
UFOs go into the water.
Yes.
Who's to say there ain't? If there's so many videos you can watch where they go into the ocean and 50, 60 foot down, there's a whole town.
Mm-hmm.
There's pyramids.
Yeah.
I still think the pyramid had nothing to do with the Egyptians. They had no way of building it.
Mm-hmm.
They had no way of moving that, because I wanted to talk about they had no way of moving the stones. We can barely move them today. I had pictures of cranes and all kinds of stuff to show what it takes to lift some of them stones, and they could move 1 mile an hour, which means 200 miles from the pyramid. That takes 4 days to get there. How'd they build it in 20 years? No way.
Yeah,
right.
no.
I agree.
You think
we know that there are sunken cities off the coast of Japan. There are sunken cities off the coast of India. They found
There's
one
pyramids
recently.
off Japan.
Yes, exactly. They found one recently off the coast of Cuba that they won't let anybody go look at. You know.
I think the reason. Okay, here's my next step. I think the reason we don't hear nothing about that is the church killed it because it contradicts their beliefs.
Well, yeah, the church has definitely
we agree
been
on that,
the
I'd like
of
to
information over the ages for sure.
I'd like the three of us to be able to go down underneath the Vatican and let us into the locked rooms and let us look at the real books and the real things they're hiding.
Yep.
Everybody was all storm Area 51. I'm like
no.
I'm all storm the Vatican, yo. Right?
Yep, just like the book of Enoch. Why ain't it in the damn Bible? It was the first book.
I already know. It's because that's what I was talking to Dana about a minute ago. I was saying it. There obviously at some point was an agreement that the benevolent extraterrestrials had to go. We weren't allowed to know they were here for some reason. So for what reason, I don't know. No, you know, but we were not allowed to know
I'm a believer in God.
Yeah.
But I also believe God created everything. So if God created us, He created the aliens too.
That's right.
I agree.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know,
and I've
told you before, or a lot of people in chat, I've never seen a UFO. Oh, I cry every night. And I used to go camping as a kid for years until my dad passed away. And I used to sit out there and stare at the stars and go, "Come speak to me. Come speak to me." You know?
I tell Alara all the time we need to go alien hunting. We can.
Yeah, and then she tells me if they show up that she's gonna run. I said, well, then you're not gonna show up. You gotta. You're
the ambassador, man. You're doing the talking.
And notice I can't stop using my hands.
Line with the gun. Don't worry.
See,
I don't know what good it'll do, but
look, the vast majority of them are benevolent guys. Yes, there's bad guys out there. Okay. And the bad guys are the ones that deceive us and hide and stuff like that. And well, the good guys hide too, but I think that's because there's a reason and an agreement. They're not supposed to interfere. They're not supposed to interfere. We have free will, basically. So at some
Just
point,
like the good and bad man on Earth. There's
Yes,
good aliens, bad
but
aliens.
That's
There's
right.
good
You know
humans,
what
there's
you're
bad
gonna get.
humans.
How do you know? You never know.
by,
It's like,
the
you
way,
know,
by
like
the
a
way,
box of chocolates,
no,
man.
foil frequency. Everything is frequency.
Didn't we just
vibration.
talk
Sound,
about, like, if
sound.
they're-
You'll
sound
know by
of-
the way
sa-
they
you-
make you feel. You'll know by the way you feel around them.
Have you ever watched the videos where they put the sound with the frequency underneath and they put the sand on top and the designs come
Oh
out?
yeah,
the cymatics.
cymatics.
Then look at them designs and then go to India and look at the statues on top of the horses of what people think are spaceships and look at the designs on the underneath. They're patterns just like they make with the sound in the videos.
It's
I'm
true.
with you.
It's true.
I think there's two types of travel. I think there's void of space, which is a vacuum, which is a wormhole, and then I think there's frequency, which is what a lot of the aliens visited India with to fly their spaceship.
You mean like teleportation, personal teleportation through frequency consciousness? Is that what you're?
Well,
talking about?
I don't know if that's it, but I think the actual sound is the power of the ship that guides the ship.
Yeah.
Somehow they've
Oh,
learned
that's
not
what
only
powered
to
by-
do the frequency, but they've learned how to control the frequency.
Right.
Sure.
See,
That's
just
probably how they
learning-
built
just-
all these structures. A lot of these structures were probably built.
I think
using
they
sound.
walked over with a little machine and stuck it on the side of a 30-ton stone and hit a button and the damn thing becomes 1 pound.
Yep.
And then some guy walked behind it with his finger pushing it to where it went.
Yep.
First of all, how the hell do they build pyramids? Nobody can make two rocks fit together perfect where you can't put a piece of paper between
Right.
them with a brass chisel and hammer. You can't
You
do
can't.
it. We can't do it today.
Yeah,
It's
we
even-
know
it's
a lot
even
of those were
laughable.
Laser cut.
It's even laughable that sometimes I'll get stuck watching the History Channel or something. They'll go on about
Oh, I love history.
and I love history too. But you get to a point when you learn enough and you do it for where you see them, the stories they try to sell us about how this stuff ended up.
Bullshit. Half of them are bullshit.
Oh, come on, dude! Like the giant stuff and the giant structures and the giant door. Come on, the stuff they'll come up with to try to explain this stuff.
Devil's Mountain out in Arizona. You know what that was at one time? That's a tree that is turned into stone.
Right?
Oh, the mud fossils.
Yeah,
I'm all
she's
about
into the mud fossils. Yep.
Well, then you need to get with my friend Berserker Bear because he is into the mud stuff.
I will
His
check out
videos
his
are
channel.
fantastic, and he's a God-fearing and he's a great guy. I mean, I think you'll love him.
I will definitely check out his channel. And Alara, just so you know, when we go alien hunting, I will approach with an open mind.
You
But
don't
if we
hunt
get
them.
abducted
That's
and
where
something bad happens, I'm not talking about hunting. I say alien hunting. I just mean when we go looking for them.
Go
Why don't
find
we-
him.
Why don't
Right.
we
I
change the
will-
wording out the jump?
All right.
From
I
hunting
will
to
approach-
something more benevolent.
Searching,
With
searching,
a peaceful, open
searching.
mind.
Okay.
But if the ruckus occurs, just know that I'm going to be pissed. Okay?
Hey, but what a way to go! You died by aliens.
Oh,
Not everybody can say that.
No, sir. No, sir. Like, not on my list of things to do. But that's but I will approach with an open mind.
Well, I'll go along with you, and I'll stand out 50 foot in front of you. Not that I have the body to protect you no more, but I'll sure as hell try.
Gary's gonna get your
Aw.
6. I'd get your 6
Right.
too, full, but we won't need to get your 6 because I.
Okay, I'm
Because they're going to
gonna-
make friends. We're going to sit down and play cards and drink beer together. Well, I
I
won't
will
drink beer
happily
because
sit
I'm
down
allergic
and,
to it.
and,
But
and kick it with the aliens. Like if they're just trying to chill and tell us, like I'm all about that. That's
I'll
I can do that.
I'll introduce them to weed.
There you go.
I think they already know about the weed.
I would
from what
even
I hear.
smoke with
Yeah,
the
I think they
aliens.
may have
Like,
left
I'm
it for
okay
me.
with that.
Yeah,
Right.
I think they know. I think they were like, put it on the earth. Let those humans chill out. Here,
Who
give them
was-
some
we
weed.
were on Neo's channel and they were somebody was saying that they think that aliens brought the weed here. Like I can totally see that.
Well,
Yeah.
to that argument, I have myasthenia gravis, which is an MS disease. I seriously think somewhere on this planet there's a herb I could eat that will cure me.
Probably.
Amen.
I am so pissed they're tearing down the rainforest because every year they kill something that will save somebody by what they're doing.
Amen.
I agree.
You know, it's just so sad. I think I may have this disease because all the shit they pour down the sewer drain.
Oh, listen, they are definitely making us the environment for us
Money.
is beyond toxic.
Money. Yep.
Money.
And
It makes you mad.
I can't believe I
Makes me
spent
furious.
so much of my life ignorant to it too, and bought into it. You know, the big pharma and the GMOs. I was so ignorant to it most of my life, Gary. And I look back and it's like, but it's okay. I learned, and everything that you learn from that produces growth, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Well, I think there's a cure for cancer. I think.
Oh, yeah.
When you have $100 billion a year industry, you don't give nobody the cure,
No.
even if you have it.
Yeah.
No.
And when we find out, I'll help lynch them.
There you go.
Man.
We know.
Well,
we know.
I'm sorry, they don't even deserve a trial. If there's a cure for cancer and they're hiding it, they don't even deserve a trial. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I happen
No,
to
that's
agree with
horrible. It's
Right.
it's horrible.
I
If there's cures being hidden from us.
I've had friends that died painful, nasty deaths, and if there was a cure, I'd be so. You don't want to see me that mad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know we've all lost relatives to cancer and other illnesses that are probably completely preventable, and I certainly wouldn't treat it in the way that we've been taught to treat things now. If I were to have to deal with something like that, there's no way that I would go the route that we're taught is the way you should go to handle it either. But I think, like you said, I think there's cures for all of it.
I think there's so many hidden things. I think because of wars, societies have upped and down a war, up a war down, up a war down.
Yeah.
I think mankind's been on this 10,000 years. Bullshit. I think we've been here hundreds of thousands of years. I think we've dumbified ourselves about 6-7 times already. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to nuke each other.
I think we've gotten reset, and I also think periodically throughout that time, at the end of every cycle, there's been a harvest, and people have left. It's that simple.
Yep.
That's
well,
where
I think we live on other worlds because we've left. We were smart enough to leave. I think some aliens may have developed here and left, and they come back to check on us.
Right.
I mean,
we were definitely engineered.
There's so many ways it could be. Once again, history is history because we weren't there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, all these, just like the pyramids. The guy goes, well, there's hieroglyphics inside. The guy dynamited his way. The guy should be shot for that. Dynamited his way into the pyramids. Then he goes in and finds a room. He finds one little room with hieroglyphics on the wall. But yet in his log, it doesn't say anything about finding them.
Did you see?
But in his report back to France, says he did. I think he did it because he thought he was in trouble and he had to manufacture that, which means the pyramids had nothing to do with the Egyptians. The water that goes down to the bottom, because water goes up and down with the earth, causes vibration in the pyramid. Then they release two chemicals in that causes hydrogen. Hydrogen goes in, and I think the main room, there was electronic equipment stacked up, and that hydrogen went in there, and they lit it on fire, produced electricity, and they sent that electricity out each of them 2 holes to solar systems where they needed power, and the top of the pyramid went to all the obelisks all over the world, and there was light bulbs on this planet thousands of years ago.
Yep. Well, look at the Helios 1 says India's religion says we nuked each other. It's true. And look at the Vimanas.
That was a war.
And then look at the Vimanas.
Two aliens got in a war. Yeah, and we draw pictures of horses on behind the thing because the lower people, the humans, didn't understand what was going on.
Right. It's true. And then look at Mars. Like Foyle and I have discussed this, the signature on Mars. You know what I mean? There was a nuclear war there. Clearly.
Yeah, Xenon.
We know that.
29.
So
I'll take you out to Arizona. I'll take you out to Nevada with a machine, and we'll walk to where they blew up 100 nukes underground and a couple on top. I'll show you a reading you can get from them nukes. That's the only you don't get it from uranium. You get it after uranium has exploded. I'll take you to India, and I'll show you that same signal on all them old cities in India, and it's a lesser signal, but it's still there that place was nuked at one time.
Gary gets it. He knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Common sense. Everything is common sense.
It is.
Use a little common sense. Add the number. 1 and 1 is 2.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what anybody else says.
I mean, come on. You know these people can't use common sense.
Well, no, you just got to get rid of the mind. The problem is you got to unlearn the mind control. You got to deprogram.
Yes.
Then you're able to think for yourself, and then it does make sense. Thank you to Sergio Boner Stabone.
Right.
Check out the Cure for Cancer cover-up on YouTube's Bernazinski. Thank you, Sergio.
See, now you know why I wanted to come on your show. The beer shows are fun. You go on, you talk about beer, you get drunk, you joke, you laugh.
Right.
But you don't learn nothing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I love the guys that do the shows. I'm entertained.
Right.
You know, but how often can you talk about beer and think of something new, you know?
Yeah.
And just like Craig. I found Craig 5 years ago. I fell in love with the guy. Why? Because he's like me. Where he's reasonable, I have common sense.
Yeah.
You know, I love Joey because he's so damn smart. He's funny and he don't get it. He's so smart. I keep telling Joey, don't take it so personal. They're laughing with you, not at you, pal.
Right.
You know? And I says, when something don't work, just do the damn show and figure it out tomorrow because you're still there. But he spends a whole hour trying to get it work, and that hurts his show. You know?
Yeah.
And like Zeus, he's, you know, there's plenty of religious shows here, and I don't even talk about Neo. I use her as an alarm clock. I set it at 10.
Oh, Neo's
I turn
great.
it on. Turn it on high. I leave it on at night because I like to get up about 10. Mm-hmm. Her voice comes on loud. I have to get out of bed to turn it out to say hi to her.
Oh, that's cool.
Then after an hour of listening to her, not being preached to, being talked to, I feel so damn good when I walk away. By the way, when you three ladies were on the same show, that is one of the best damn shows I've watched on the internet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Hey, women are just as smart and sometimes smarter than men.
Right? Hey, don't let the secret out, Gary. We love Neo. Neo's such a blessing in this community.
She just has such a way with words. Mm-hmm. You get done listening to her and you feel great.
Yeah, she talks to you.
Not
like
everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a special talent. She has a talent.
She's a blessing, no doubt.
Amen.
I thought she was going to call in tonight. I don't know what happened to Neo. I thought she was going to call in and.
Well, she had mentioned it, and I was hoping she would because I'd love to chat straight to her. She's my hero for 10 o'clock. I've never had a better alarm clock in my life, if you know what I mean. And I don't mean that in an insulting way to her. I mean that in a great way to her.
What a way! Sure that she knows what you think.
What a way to wake up.
Yeah.
You know.
Amen.
Well, she's just like
heartwarming.
I was told I never could go on the internet because I got extreme dyslexia. I do not understand nouns, adjective, adverbs. Someone said spell it out. If I don't know what A, E, I, O, U means, how the hell am I going to sound something out?
Right.
They told me I'd never be able to work a computer. Well, I think I don't do too damn bad in chat for a guy that can't spell a lick of shit.
You
know what I'm saying?
Great.
Yeah.
You are definitely.
I think everybody's got so used
Gary.
to me, they know what I'm saying, even because I spell the word wrong the same way almost every time.
Gary, you get things that escape a lot of people. So I don't think the way you can spell a word, you see me on Space Force News. I don't know if you watch, but I mispronounce half the words. You know what I mean? You can't really judge somebody's, it's
intellect off whether or not they
can
write and spell.
That's right.
Viber says, get out while you're ahead, Gary, and chat. I think the mail thing didn't go over well with a few of my mail buddies.
You did good.
I'll be all right.
I'm so glad you were able to make your way in here. So,
Right.
I
I
didn't
was
give
worried you
up.
weren't
When
gonna-
I said I was mad at me because I couldn't figure it out, you know, and I didn't give up.
Well, we are glad
Just
you
like
made it
a
in
little
here.
hint for everybody. When you walk into a room, look left, look right, and look in the room. So many people walk in the room and they don't see anything that's in there.
That is
You
true.
got to constantly be aware what's going on. If there's a fire and you would have looked when you walked in, you'd have known there was a door
Yep.
over in the left-hand corner, but you can't see it in the smoke.
yep.
No situational awareness. Most people are just looking down now. That's what they do. They look down.
Suiterbug
Yep.
says, good night, Alara and Foil. Great job with the
Aw.
Conspiracy Couch, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Suiterbug.
Suiter.
We love
Well,
you.
I hope I did a halfway decent job.
You did, and we are so glad you
I'm
got
I'm
in here.
learning, and I have a problem with interrupting. I'm getting better at that
You're doing
so
great.
do I.
because I'm not
Don't
used
worry.
to talking
She's the worst. I mean, her.
and looking at delay pictures and another pictures popping around, you know, and I think I'm getting better at it.
You are doing great.
You're doing great.
See, now
did
I
great.
miss your show sometimes because Craig or Joey's on, and I'm sorry, I've been watching both of them for 4 or 5 years, you know, so, but when you got something interesting on, I love watching your show.
Well,
And I'd
thank
love
you.
to come back again live when
Well,
you're talking about something that I'm interested in and I think I can add to it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're
Well,
more than
Conspiracy
welcome.
Couch is always a call-in show. You just look and see what we're talking about, and if you want to give us a ring, you give us a ring. The people in
Okay.
the chat loved you.
Yeah.
Well, it took me a little work and I started clicking on my Zoom thing and then I looked up the right hand. Oh, wait, what if I click? Oh, look. Oh,
There you go.
well, then I couldn't find the damn ID and password number. I tried writing it down every time I get halfway. You flip a picture and they disappear.
Aw.
So after about 5 times, I finally stuck them in and, oh, shit, it worked.
yeah,
And and since I already have a meme of me with my hands, I got to learn not to speak and wave at the same time.
I'm Italian, and I talk with my hands, and I interrupt people all the time. Don't.
Well, see, me and you will get along together. We'll just talk over each other and understand.
This has been a fun show, and so I'm going to put this out there, okay? I think we should do a Tartaria Part 2 show here at some point in the future. Give everybody a month or, even maybe 60 days to research it, go down your own rabbit holes, whichever direction you want to go. And I think we should come back and do a Tartaria Part 2
Well, you know
show.
what?
Yeah.
I don't even think it's a rabbit hole. I think it's a cave to the center of the earth. I think calling it a rabbit hole is being small about it.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of limiting, right?
The cave that is Tartaria, right? And then we can all call and put our different thoughts in there, and maybe we can.
Well, until you brought it up, I never matched the pyramid and Atlantis and all them together.
Yeah.
You made me look at a lot of things a new way instantly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
and I go, wait, that explains some of the other things I've looked at, you know?
That's the point of these conversations, is to get each other thinking and I think that's the
Well,
whole point.
I think that if we don't wise up, it's going to happen to us.
Oh, yeah.
I think our country is falling from within, and I think that's what happened back then, and that's why they had war.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
But I think more people. I'm too sick to go out and convert people. But like I said, 80% of the people in my building are black, and I'd have no problem with blacks. I was raised to be a human, not a racist.
Right.
And I have a lot of friends here, and a lot of them were Democrats. And I use the word were.
Yeah.
Because they're coming up to me now going, you were right.
Yeah, all about that.
What is the best thing you can hear from a hardcore Democrat when he sells a Republican? You were right.
There you go.
I go, if Biden gets in, your insulin's going to go back to $300. You ain't going to be able to buy your damn food. Look what happened.
It's getting crazy.
That alone, I have at least half of them telling me they'd vote for Trump if there's another vote. And that's coming. Watch. That's my conspiracy theory that Trump ain't done. It ain't over.
All right.
And I don't want to get you in trouble on
we hope
YouTube.
not. Right?
Right.
Did I say too much already?
No, you're teetering. You're
I'm
teetering, but
Well,
you're all right.
Then I'll stop now so I don't go past the teeter to the totter.
That sounds.
Well, we are so glad.
Yeah,
you
we're
made
glad
it
you called
here.
in. We have to.
Oh, I'm glad I
we're gonna
got
end
in.
the
This
show
was
anyway.
this was fun. I had a blast.
Yeah, this was
I
fun.
love talking. I love talking about shit like this.
So come back for any other show you're interested in, and definitely come back for Tartaria Part 2.
I'll definitely back for it. And I tell you what, I'm gonna try. If you do it in Discord, it's easier for me. You know,
we are working on that.
We need
and it's kind of hard to get my friend Berserker Bear to get on Discord and Zoom. And I'd like to bring him along. I think you'd freak out over him. I really do.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll have him on for Tartaria Part 2. That'd be awesome. Yeah, Gary.
We'll see what we can do.
Yes. Thank you so much for calling in. You have a blessed night. And
yes, much love, sir. Much love.
God loves you, and
see you
thank
again
you
soon.
for inviting. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for coming.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Okay, so yeah. Wow, he's so knowledgeable. He gets it.
Right.
He totally gets so many things. Gary's
people in the chats loved Gary.
Yeah, Gary's
they
great.
Thought that was great.
Gary's
Thank you,
great.
Gary.
Thank you, Gary. I'm glad you figured out. Thanks everybody in Foxhole for trying to help him figure out how to get in there.
Yes.
So yeah, on that note, let me see a couple of announcements before we close the show. Don't worry, I will empty the chest on D Live. In fact, let me do that right now, so that you guys can get your rewards over there. Couple of announcements before we close the show.
I'm like, what? What am I hearing?
Yeah, got it.
Am I tripping? What's
Okay,
going on?
so rewards are going out right now. Yeah, they love you, Gary. They love you over on D Live, YouTube, Foxhole. Everybody loves Gary.
Right?
How
Everybody
can you
loves
not
Gary.
love Gary?
Right.
He has it figured out too. He just shocked me when he got it. He was like, it's like this and this and this. I'm like, he totally gets it.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Sergeant Sparky says he's woke AF. He's definitely woke AF. I love it. It's fascinating. Okay, so let's see. Let me see. D-Live chest. Emptied rewards out over there, guys. There you go. Yeah, this has been a really fun show. Okay, so Space Force News will be Sunday night, of course, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right? You don't want to miss the Space Force News. It's always entertaining. Methods will be on with me next Wednesday for live interview
Methods?
Wednesday. I don't even know what I call them. Live Wednesday night live. Yeah, Wednesday night live, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern with Methods. We're still keeping Conspiracy Couch every other Thursday right now. As soon as we know anything about that, it will be posted on my Telegram channel and on Foil's Twitter account. So right after the show, just a reminder, guys, I will go in, since the links didn't link up in the beginning, I'll go in and copy everything over.
You didn't check the Cash App. Not once during the show. After
no,
we sat
yeah, I
there,
did. I checked it twice.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I checked it twice. Oh, Judy's pissed. Thank you,
Judy's pissed.
Yep. Thank you for reminding me to check it at the end, though, because yes.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you so
We
much,
love you.
Judy, for your super chat. That's what we're gonna call it, because that's what it is. It's gonna be it's gonna be the preferred super chat method from here on out. Please, guys, go and follow me on D Live and Foil on D Live.
Yes, I also have a D Live, and I will be posting. I'm gonna start doing shorts, and I've decided.
Yep.
And
Excellent.
my longer dates
On that
once in a
note,
while.
I want to say thank you to my amazing mods that work so hard. You guys are such a blessing. We're so grateful for you.
We appreciate the help.
All the people that support this channel, they both by your love and by your donations. Thank you so much, you guys. We love you guys. You guys are amazing.
We love you.
Yeah. And on that note, I will say good night to everybody, and we will see you on Sunday for Space Force News. Good night, fam.